emphasis on education, all that kind of stuff. But also, you know, you have kind of a domineering attitude that comes with it. And one of the things that I did was I took up bagpipes as a hobby. So I belonged to a bagpipe band. One of the things I did was, one of the questions you always get asked when you're a bagpiper, besides the one question that you can never answer as a bagpiper, which is what's under the kilt. Well, I'll tell you the answer, socks and shoes.
That's recorded.
The other question is, what, you know, they ask, are you Scottish? And, you know, part of being, you know, British in background, you know, the whole dominating the world at one point is I just say, well, you know, I'm actually British in origin, but, you know, we took over the Scots, so it's our bagpipes now. Doesn't go over well with my other bandmates. You're Scottish. You're Scottish. We are. Call me Sassenach, which means foreigner, which really means enemy.
That's Curtis.
Clans are going to gather. Whenever the seminary in Dallas, I spent a year working with the Native American mission of Oklahoma. And don't know why, it's just that I kind of was drawn there. 2 weeks ago, my father, 86 years old, called me so excited. Said he now found out that his mother, on the census rolls, she was not African American, she was Cherokee and Apache.
Wow.
So recently, the revelation is, wow, like my grandmother was Indian, Native American. Now I know why that attraction was there to the Native American culture. Some of that is in me.
Always new worlds to explore. Anyone else? Yes?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something that over here you'll talk about African American Caucasian. I just want to give a little perspective on how it is in India. In India, very often you see that people marry within communities. Like if you are, say for instance, from Kerala, and here I'm talking about Christians and Hindus, it's much stricter. So if you're from Kerala, a Keralite will marry a Keralite. If they're a Hindu Keralite and they come from the Brahmin caste, a Hindu Keralite from Kerala would marry within the Brahmin caste. If you are of a different caste, you will marry within that caste. But what's happening now is a lot of people are marrying across these lines, especially within the Christian community. For instance, a person who's from Kerala might marry somebody who's from another state. Like my dad is from Bangalore, my mom's from Kerala, but they have got married. But my grandfather was, who we would think would be really very orthodox and marry only from within the community of a certain caste system. But he was the one who actually broke away from tradition and married somebody from out of the village and from a different family, which actually created a big uproar. And then my daddy took it one step further and married somebody from a totally different community. And my brothers have taken it even one step further. And my sister too, like we have married, not we, they have married, like I'm single. So, in case anybody just for the public record.
Anybody else? Okay. Well,
let me tell you about how my motivation. Well, my husband Z and I, we welcomed our two nieces, well, my niece Jazz and her best friend from Hong Kong in 2008 to come to the United States and study at our local community college and move on to university study. We don't have children, so we took a great leap into opportunity. And I'm happy to tell you that they will be graduating, Jazz from University of Maryland, Naomi from University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill next year. So while they were beginning to look at universities to apply to,
I came across the statistics from Cornell University that 13 of 21 suicides in a 10-year period were committed by Asians. Asians make up only 14% of the student population, so I said, oh, no way. These gals cannot apply there, and we had a discussion about that. I also found great research coming out of Hong Kong by Dr. Yip in the Hong Kong University's Suicide Research Center for Prevention of Suicide. And this research covers about every Asian country, which I just found fascinating, and it includes a developmental perspective. So I thought, well, got excited from the Hong Kong research, coming out of Hong Kong, but I said, let me see what is here in the U.S. about Asian Americans. Very little at that time. This was fall of 2010. So fast forward to this January, the Centers for Disease Control put out new data, which changed my original research. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. For the Asian Americans, the research is from Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The Hong Kong data is coming out of the Center for Suicide Research and Prevention. The years, we're going to look at 2002 to 2007, and let's look at this overall suicide rate comparison. So you'll see here, in the U.S., the top group, ethnic group, American Indian and Alaska Natives have the highest rate of suicide. The white group has the next highest. Then if you add Hong Kong Chinese, they come in third, ahead of U.S. Asian Americans. And if you'll notice, the Hong Kong rate is about twice as high as the Asian American suicide rate. And then fourth, U.S. blacks, African Americans. Let's look at a comparison by age group. So the blue line is the Hong Kong community. You'll see the overall suicide rate increases with age. That means as we get older in Hong Kong, the suicide rate increases. For Asian Americans, suicide rate is flat except for this group, the 15 to 24 age group. And in fact, that is on the increase and higher than the Hong Kong rate. And at the end, 65 and above group is increasing. So those are two areas for us to be concerned with here. Now we're looking by gender, and you'll see, again, the male Hong Kong Chinese rate is higher than the Asian American males, except for that group, 50 to 24, and the 65. Well, 65 and above is still lower here, but it is, again, among males, that is increasing. Females, you'll see the blue is the Hong Kong Chinese females, and they're higher. The Asian American females come close to the Hong Kong Chinese females, again at that 15 to 24 group. Now we look at compare rates by age group. So if you look at the powder blue bar, that is the senior age group, 65 and above in Hong Kong. And I'm happy to tell you, since 2003, when it's very high, it's been decreasing. Also, for the Asian American senior group, this is the cinnamon one, the last one, that is also decreasing. Again, 15 to 24 age group is increasing. That is the kind of the purple one. So I want to show you what a surprise about the decreasing Asian American senior rate. It masks an increase among seniors as they age 65 and above. Before I go there, just notice the rates across cultures with the males in Hong Kong being, 43%, that's getting pretty high there. So I only have data broken down as seniors age for Asian Americans, and you can see the highest rate now is 28% among males 85 and above. What happens to Asian American females? 75 and 84 years of age, then it drops. So those are all things to keep in our minds and be
Is
observant.
that percentage or is that per 100,000? When you said percentage, you said 28.1%. Is that percent or is that per 1,000 or per 100,000?
I will have to check with you on that.
I think it's per 100,000, not percent.
Okay.
And just for what it's worth, because that sounds, when Ashley says rate, I was thinking we're per 100,000.
I can check.
Just wondering.
Thank you. So of course, I wanted to now take you to that area of concern, the adolescents. And if you'll notice the green line is the Hong Kong group, 15 to 24. The purple is the Asian Americans. You'll see in Hong Kong, the rate keeps coming down, a little, and in the Asian Americans, the rate starts going up in 2005. And in 2006, they connect, and the Hong Kong rate keeps going down, and the Asian American rate is going up. I want to show you, the data was very hard to find on suicide attempt rates among adolescents. Please note the age 14 to 18. You can see the highest rate overall is found with Asian Americans. If you break it down by gender, Hong Kong Chinese males, a little bit higher, and Asian American females are higher. So again, keep in mind this information when you see Asian American clients.
You want some help with that issue?
I don't mind. You'd like, thanks. So I don't want to leave out the middle group, which is a pretty big group, 25 to 64. And you see the top half is the Hong Kong rates, all higher than the Asian Americans. The rates are decreasing for both Hong Kong Chinese and Asian Americans, except for that 15 to 24 age group in the U.S. And also there's a slight increase to 35 to 44 age group starting in 2006, the purple one. So I've listed over here the areas that we need to be concerned about with the increases. The 15 to 24, 35 to 44, and then a senior's age, males 85 and above, and females 75 to 84. And then with the attempt rate, we need to be concerned, especially with the Asian American female adolescents. So I wanted to give you a little bit of information on the method used. Looking at this picture of Hong Kong, what do you think might be the top method? That's right. Jumping from a great height is how it's described in the research. Also, you can see charcoal burning. What is charcoal burning? It's comparable to our a method getting in a car in your garage, die by carbon monoxide. So Hong Kong Chinese may get the charcoal and go into it, find a vehicle or a tight location to do it. Dr. Yip and his Suicide Research Center were successful in working with the media and the merchants to limit sales of charcoal. So that has helped decrease that rate of suicide, method of suicide. Hanging comes in third. And then for the Asian Americans, what do you think, well, what would you imagine might be a first choice method? I didn't get it. No, it's suffocation. It's the first choice.
What is it?
Suffocation. So then I could only find data of the 10 to 24 age group, and you see firearms, second, poisoning, all, and other. Something interesting to notice about the Hong Kong method is cutting. So we want to be aware of if our Asian American client is cutting to discern what is behind that.
Excuse me, did you find anything on death by car?
Death by car?
You
No.
know, because they believe that many of the accidents that adolescents have can be suicide attempts or, you know, pregnancies.
And, or you mean for Asian American